Hi guys, White Witch 110 here. Today is the anniversary of the hanging of Patrick James Whelan. I'll be reading to you today about the situation. I was going to have a picture of him to show you, but hubby's doing the Norton's updates on the desktop and the laptops, and it sounds like he's getting frustrated. So instead, we have this photo that I took at the Tulip Festival a few years ago. Now, Patrick James Whelan, born 1840 in Galway, Ireland. He died February 11th, 1869, at the age of 28. And he died by hanging at the Carleton County Gallows in Ottawa. That is now known as the Ottawa Jail Hostel. Other names that he went by were Sullivan and Smith. Patrick was a tailor. His charge was murder. He was the son of William Whelan and Mary Sullivan. Patrick became an apprentice tailor at 14. He traveled to England and then settled in Canada about 1865. Patrick joined the volunteer cavalry when he worked as a tailor in Quebec City. This group was against the Fenians. However, the military believed he may be a supporter because of his actions. He was arrested and released, no charges against him. It's believed he moved between Buffalo, New York, and Hamilton, Ontario, before settling in Montreal. He married Bridget Boyle in 1867. She was 13 years his senior and of the upper class. Patrick continued to work as a tailor. 31st of December, 1867, Patrick, Smith of Grand Trunk, made his way into Thomas D'Arcy McGee's library by his welcoming brother. He warned McGee of a plot to burn his house at 4 a.m. the next morning. There was a note to give to the police advising 2 officers should be at the house to protect. Whelan did not take the note until 4:45 a.m. the next morning. The arsonist never appeared. St. Patrick's Day, 1868, Whelan was assistant marshal to the parade in Ottawa. April 7th, 1868, Thomas is returning to his boarding house. He was apparently smoking a cigar. With the key in the lock, Mary Ann Trotter opened the door. At that moment, there was a flash. The force went through his neck and jaw, knocking his dentures out. He fell back onto the street. And that would be Thomas D'Arcy McGee. The preceding night, 40 Canadians suspected of Fenian alliance were arrested. Even the stable hand, Patrick Buckley, to the Prime Minister John A. Macdonald. Buckley gave police Whelan's name. Patrick Whelan was found in a pub at 9:30 p.m. Searched by Sergeant Davis at 32 Smith & Wesson with the serial number 50847 was found in his pocket. All rounds were still in the gun. Items he was carrying: box of cartridges, Irish American newspaper, green badge of Toronto something or other, I can't read my own writing, Benevolent Society, Membership, St. Patrick's Benevolent Society. Tickets to St. Patrick's Literary Society. Photo of a lady. And 2 tickets to the Shamrock Quadrille Club. All of these items brought him to become the prime suspect in the murder on April 9th, 1868. There was a $2,000 reward for the capture of the killer posted at the site of the assassination. The trial took 8 days. Prime Minister John A. Macdonald was a personal friend of Thomas D'Arcy McGee. He received permission to sit beside the judge during the trial. Whelan's lawyer was a Protestant and the prosecutor Irish Catholic. First day of the trial, his apparel was said to exhibit a jaunty demeanor. He sat with his arms folded, eating apples. Patrick watched flies on the ceiling. He laughed at a constable tripping when he went to bring him out of the defendant box. 14-year-old tavern servant testified she knew Whelan had a gun, but she said another servant had handled it, discharging it. A bookkeeper confirmed this. He also said Whelan had wanted to sell his gun 6 weeks before the murder. A tailor from Montreal said McGee had angered Patrick during the election, yet others said Patrick had no interest in politics. Someone had overheard a gentleman was offered $16,000 and passage anywhere in the world to swear statement against Whelan. Later, a woman said she had heard this man say he'd take $10,000 to $20,000 with no mention of another person. On the final day of his trial, he said, "Now I am held to be a black assassin, and my blood runs cold. But I am innocent. I never took that man's blood." On September 15th, he was found guilty. And now this will be, I believe, the judge. You'll hear Whelan's words, and then the jury's. Richards. The sentence of this court is that you, Patrick James Whelan, having been accused and found guilty of the murder of Thomas D'Arcy McGee, be taken from this place to the place from whence you came, and be thence removed on Thursday, the 10th day of December, between the hours of 9 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon, to the place of execution, and there be hanged by the neck until your body be dead, and may God have mercy on your soul. Whelan. All the sentence, my lord, cannot make me guilty. To the jury. Oh, okay, this is him addressing the jury. I am held to be a murderer. I am here standing on the brink of my grave, and wish to declare to you and to my God that I am innocent, that I never committed this deed. Patrick appealed, but Richard overturned it. Then again, January 1869, and again Richards was sitting, so it was overturned once more. 5,000 people watched Whelan's hanging. His last words, "God save Ireland, and God save my soul." His widow moved back to Montreal and lived alone until her own death. August 2002, earth from the former prison cemetery was placed in a box and interned with his wife. His body is believed to still be on the grounds of the jail somewhere. Blessings on Patrick James Whelan's soul. Now tonight, the Haunted Walk would have a special tour of the jail, and they would go through the entire speeches I have done and what was said and all the accusations and such. And then when hubby and I went, what was that, 2008, I guess we might have gone? They had someone playing the part. They said what he said, and then you heard the gallows drop. It was very, very, you didn't see the whole thing, but you heard the bang of the wood. It was a little scary, but it was a good evening. Now, 4. I will tell you about old Fort Erie in Fort Erie. And then I'll get back to the next part of the story. Now, old Fort Erie. The original fort was built closer to the river below the existing one in 1764. In 1803, plans began for a new fort, but were put on hold when the U.S. declared war on Canada in 1812, June 18th. The siege of Fort York took place August 4th to September 21st, 1814. July 25th, 1814, seen the Battle of Lundy's Lane. It was the bloodiest battle on Canadian soil. The fort was abandoned by the British in 1823, and in 1901, Niagara Parks took ownership of the fort. Now, between 1937 and 1939, during a reconstruction, a mass grave of 153 soldiers was found. The bodies were both Canadian and American. Strange sounds have been heard in the hallways. The sounds of cannons is not uncommon. Disembodied shouts and screams have been heard, and the smell of rotting flesh. Electrical problems are common. Soldiers from the mass grave are still seen in battle. The unsettling image of a pile of burning bodies has also been reported. A headless soldier has been seen, and balls of light are claimed to be seen in the hallways. And now we will go, where did it go? I lost it. Oh, here it is. Okay, we left off the other day with both of them wondering why they hadn't spoken to these figures. And Laurie's answer, when Archie asked her, is no one was there. It was his turn to point. Now both of them had gone out and seen no one, yet there they were when they looked out the window. How can there be ghosts on land that has no history of problems? How could this be explained? The couple were glued to the window as they watched 3 others arrive. Over the course of the following week, they watched these figures build a cabin. Yet each time either of them ventured out, nothing was there. The following week, 2 more figures arrived and proceeded to build as well. Now looking out their window stood 2 cabins only feet from each other. But always when Archie and Laurie went out, the buildings weren't there. They began to think they were losing their minds. Maybe too much time alone was causing this. The following week, they awoke to no snow. But how could that be? The night before there was plenty. All they needed was an explanation. That morning, they went outside. Going to the exact spot, there was no sign of what they had seen out their window. Before a breath could be drawn, the surroundings changed. Suddenly, Archie and Laurie found themselves in a room. The walls were logs. Were they inside a cabin? Neither moved an inch. Archie took stock of everything in the room. Laurie didn't utter a sound. The door opened, throwing daylight inside. It was the man in the wide-brim hat. The first thought was how to explain their presence in his home, but he didn't seem to notice them. And we'll leave it there. Da, da, da. That's all I got to write today. So that's what you got. Maybe I can give you one of Texas Road in Amherstburg. It's in Ontario. It has said to be haunted for many generations. A shrouded figure has been reported by motorists. As their car approaches, the figure disappears. Some people claim it is workers from an old train company from a century ago. Others claim a headless horseman roams the woods. Strange lights have been seen within the woods. Hooded figures are known to walk to a nearby cemetery. The cemetery is privately owned. The property has been disrespected, so now police patrol the area, especially on Halloween. That was a fast one, wasn't it? I think we'll leave it at that. Oh, no. Fort Wellington National Historic Site in Prescott, Ontario. A military fortification built between 1813 and 1814 to guard Canada against the U.S. It was abandoned in 1833. 1837 to 1838, it was in use as headquarters for the rebellions. The British used the fort until 1863. The Canadian militia used the fort till 1923. Strange sounds have been heard coming from empty rooms. In the courtyard, the sound of hundreds of feet marching can be heard. There are extreme cold spots throughout Fort Wellington. Full-bodied apparitions of soldiers are known to be seen on the grounds. They are known to even speak with staff and visitors. Visitors have actually mistaken full uniformed spirits as actors. They are performing their daily tasks just as they did in life, not realizing they are dead. Lights are seen hovering above the fort, and doors are known to slam shut, and some visitors experience vertigo. So that's that for tonight. And I got one of these little guys tonight so that I can try out my idea I had. That'll be another night. It's busy at work. They're renovating. So hubby and I are between our regular work and then when we're needed to tidy up from the construct or renovating, we do. And there's more renovations on the horizon, so it's going to get quite busy. But that's okay. By the end of the day, we're tired and come home and ready to snooze. So, to all my loyal subscribers, love you muchly. Thank you for dropping in and leaving your comments. I really look forward to them. And for those of you just passing through, hope you enjoyed tonight's installment. Check out my other videos. Give them a thumbs up if you wish to. Leave me a comment. I will get back to it. Share it out if you think anyone else would be interested. Any of the other videos as well. And if you're thinking about subscribing, please do so. And push that notification bell so you'll know when I upload. And possibly tomorrow I'll be getting back to some crafting for you. So, have a great rest of the evening. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Oh, someone at work thought it was Wednesday today. And I said, no, it's Tuesday. And now I'm thinking it's Wednesday. Yikes. Okay, have a great rest of the evening. And have a wonderful Wednesday. And until tomorrow night, as always, ciao for now.